Welcome, everyone. Second meeting of the month, November 18th. We're partially full of trustees. We're short one, but we do have a fire chief with us and road administrator, fiscal officer, and members of the audience. Welcome, everyone. Sound good? Now, entertain a motion to adopt the minutes of meetings for November 4th.
I so move.
There's a motion, I'll make that second for that. Is there any further discussion regarding those minutes? Hearing none, may we vote please?
Mr. Hollister?
Yes.
Mr. Mutcher?
Yes. Now we entertain a motion for the adoption of minutes of special meeting November 11th, 2019.
I move adoption of those minutes.
I have a motion, I'll make a second. Any further discussion regarding those minutes? Hearing none, may we vote please?
Mr. Mutcher?
Yes.
Mr. Hollister?
Yes.
And now entertain a motion to approve payment of bills in the amount of $363,811.12.
It's a record.
Yes, this must be a record for the last million years.
Since I've been here.
Please,
I,
hold on. Broken down, general fund, $2,127.70. Fire fund, $19,107.94. Cemetery fund, $830.30. EMS building, $7,508.04. Road and bridge, $3,593.17. And Drumroll capital project, $330,646.97.
Yeah.
And two more
No, two more
zeros.
zeros.
No partial cents. Which
I move adoption
could be
of the motion.
appropriate for us. in the sense we
A
have.
resolution to approve payment of these bills.
Well, it's a motion, not a resolution, but it should be a resolution, but it's not.
You
I
should be.
move adoption
Okay, I'll second.
or approval of this.
Any further discussion?
Just a comment
Okay, go.
that now we're finally paying for the firehouse big time, and it's rolling. $330,000.
Well, actually, technically, we're borrowing it right now. We will be paying for it for the next 30 years. But I know what you're saying.
Yes. We're paying for it, although we have borrowed. And there'll be other discussion later in the meeting, but I am happy and excited.
Happy and excited.
That's the good tune there. Okay, but
Got $1.83 for you, if that's what you're gonna bring up.
No.
I think it's $1.83.
I'm gonna bring us down here. We have a bill from Office Depot, of course, has Ohio state tax on it, it has Ohio county tax on it, and by my reading, that's 43 cents.
What's
Oh,
this-
yeah, well, there's another one actually.
What's this have to do with this motion?
It's part of the payment of the bills.
Yeah, there's another,
It's an addition to what's already, you're making an amendment?
No, but this will take 43 cents off of fire, minus 43. So the actual total bill, of course, it'll take 43 cents off the entire bill.
it will.
At some point when this is all reconciled.
Yeah, I believe there's a little bit more too, I caught today. And then there's the $22 from SurveyMonkey that they're
Are you-
they're gonna credit that one.
Are you making some legal complication here? Do you want to amend my motion?
No. Hearing no further discussion, may we vote please?
Mr. Hollister?
Yes.
Mr. Mutcher?
Yes. Correspondence for the period. Let's see, we have a invitation for a planning session for the old firehouse. That happened on the,
How did
when
I
did
miss
it
that?
happen? Last Tuesday? Yeah, I think it was last Tuesday. And we had a nice hour-long discussion about potential of uses and
This was the-
financing.
Yellow Springs Development
This
Corporation.
was the Yellow Springs Development Corporation. This is a subcommittee of the corporation. Subcommittee was Josue Salamaron, I gotta get that right. Roger Reynolds, I can't pronounce that, I'm smacking myself. Karen Winthrop, Gina Marie Cox, and
You.
Yes, you.
May. We have an invitation for an annual dinner, or excuse me, an annual Christmas party for Ray Hensley. This would be December 6th.
Good. The sixth?
6th. We have a communication from our zoning inspector. I think we'll take that up under zoning, because it has to do with zoning. We have a email from Jason Funberg, our construction manager for the project, and it's got to do with the temporary electric that was installed on the site today. And there's also a permanent temporary, there's a temporary county installation, and then there's a temporary village installation, and I don't know which is which, so, sorry. We have a message from Ryan Springer, the USDA, who's approving a change order that has to do with foundation work to allow for a conduit to go through it from Marshall Street to the IT room inside the building. This is for cable TV and fiber optics, and I think that's all. It's not electric. We have a director's report from NVRPC. It's a monthly, follows their meetings. We have a email from a concerned cemetery user that has been replied to. She's had her grave marker moved to the location that it's supposed to be in. A email out to Rick Corrales concerning a tax issue that we're probably going to discuss in Firehouse before or something. We had a notification from Greene County Building Department for a approval for a foundation and footer installation at the new firehouse, which we'll discuss also further in the new firehouse report. A letter or an email, no, not an email,
Report from the schools.
report from the schools, big report. Frontline employee wellness productivity, I think we already talked about this, but it's a good one, so then we'll see it again. A message from Anthem about the new SOCA policy that we are going to be adopting. And it's kind of interesting, and I'm not sure where, it has something to do with Medicare eligible members. Now, we're not members. I mean, let's say Don and I are not members, or Mark, but we're Medicare eligible. Does that mean if we are members of the organization that's being offered, that's us, could we take advantage of this?
I think it says you're eligible.
You're eligible.
I mean, that's why.
It doesn't say anything about how much it costs, or what's included, or anything.
From our presentation last month, I assumed that that did not apply to us, that it was just talking about the firefighters and people.
I think I picked that a little rainy day with Steve out there.
Yes.
We also have a correspondence from Otarma offering faithful performance of duty coverage in instead of traditional bond coverage. It's kind of, sort of the same thing. Biggest difference is bonds make you personally financially responsible for whatever misdeeds you have undertaken and are being charged with to get your bond to fire up. And with this faithful performance, you're not personally responsible. Otarma's responsible for your actions. or inactions or misappropriations or whatever you're getting charged with, so. Sounds good to me.
But it was a result of a house bill
It just went into effect earlier this year.
in March.
Yeah.
So it must, why would Otarma,
I don't know.
you know, be willing to take on, that's a lot of, it's a statewide thing, so.
One caveat, it is only applicable to newly elected officials. Yes, we know. So, you and Mark would not be eligible to participate for.
At this time.
At this time.
Not until
But-
it terms up.
I'm going to make a motion that Miami Township avail itself of the service or the option to put you and I guess, under faithful performance of duty coverage.
It'll be a resolution number 2019-47.
I don't have any reason to oppose this, but is there any hurry? Cause I haven't read this, I don't know what it's talking about.
No,
In the
sorry.
spirit of due diligence, would it be reasonable to vote on this next time?
Sure, I thought maybe you had seen it this afternoon, you were in Margaret said.
Margaret showed it to me, I looked at it, I haven't read it.
I see, well, if you'd like to study that, we'll put that on the back burner till perhaps the next meeting.
Yep.
Yes and no, it needs to be done by the first of the year. I don't know if it needs to be enforced by the first of the year, and I have a feeling it does. Now Margaret's doesn't, but mine would be. But I would guess it would be a relatively quick application process, you know, it's just a matter of, there's like a one sheet at best in there, and bingo bang, go fax it in, and you're ready to roll. Okay, that's all the correspondence I had. If there's any other correspondence this period, I'd like to know about it. Oh, fund status, revenue status, appropriation status also. Hearing none, let's move to the fire department report. Chief Bellman, that would be you.
Alrighty, well, since the last meeting.
Where's our handy dandy memo of,
Well, it was in
Stuff.
progress, and then some guy decided to get hit by a car on his bicycle, so
No.
that's what I said. Probably what he said too. So I'm just looking at my quick little notes here. So since the last meeting, we've had 19 fire incidents, 3 of which were in Bath Township, and 30 EMS incidents, also 3 of which were in Bath Township. We've done 6 fire safety inspections. Alright, so we had, last Thursday, we had a dog fall through the ice at Ellis Pond,
Uh-oh.
which we were able to rescue, which was very good. He's reunited with his owner and happy.
How'd you do that? Did you guys just put big waders on or what?
Well, no, well, this is a good segue.
Yes, you're leading into
We're
what he
leading
wants.
into what I need to tell you. So we were able to rescue the dog, but it was kind of clunky because we don't have the proper equipment for ice rescue. So because of this, local resident Lauren Miller has decided to spearhead a fundraising effort for us to be able to buy some cold water suits and other needed equipment.
Basically one cold water suit, right?
We'll see how much money she can raise. We would like to buy a couple, because, you always want to have at least 2 people in. And it's not just for animals, obviously, it's also for humans, but animals are a better hook, because we don't love animals, but we love people. So we're looking at purchasing, the purchase, Nate has got some pricing, and we're purchasing a couple of suits and some new flotation devices and stuff, but we'll see. She kickstarted with $250, and I know we've got another donation in the mail, so we've got to put a social media post up, and Lauren's done a letter to the newspaper about it. And, so we'll see, hopefully all the pet and human lovers out there will jump in.
So one suit would cost how much?
Depending on the size, it's between $550 and $650 for a suit.
So 2 suits, we're talking 3,000 maybe. Or up to.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping to get, hopefully we can raise between $2,000 and $2,500, and that would get us the equipment we need, and, the suits we need, and a couple pieces of equipment to go with that, so. And as the world works, I went my entire career without having an ice rescue until this year, where we've done 2.
Oh, yeah,
And
there
then-
was one just a
Yeah.
little while ago.
So then we may never do another one again, but at least we'll be ready, so.
Mhm.
So big thanks to Lauren, who's really pushing this and spearheading it, so appreciate that.
Do you know of other departments in the area that have that such equipment?
Zinga Township has that, so that's
Do they?
who Captain Ayers worked with to figure out what we need.
Mhm.
We actually had them responding the other day to assist before we were able to get the dog out ourselves.
Mhm.
And the downside is that it takes time to get other people here, for a dog, it was a Labrador Retriever, so at least it was the right, you gotta have a dog that has to
Big
go in the
dog.
water, it's
Mhm.
the right dog, they're water dogs. And, unlike the one earlier this year, it was like a Schnauzer or something, but yeah, it takes time to get them, so if it's a person or a child, it's gonna take a while, so the better we can get going on that, the better, so.
That's right, it wouldn't necessarily be a pet, it could be.
Right, it could be a person, more than likely a person.
Wait,
One of
first
the
we try
guys-
and go and get the dog.
Yeah, you could have that. One of the guys said, well, I'm happy to rescue a dog, but I don't know if I'd rescue a cat. And I said, well, my experience is cats are too smart to go out on the ice. Cat's gonna be like, whoa, wait.
That's cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks to Lauren. People can donate directly through the Firefighters Association by sending a check or dropping it off. And once our Facebook post is up, they can also go to the Firefighters Association website and donate online. Securely. With a credit card or a PayPal account.
Bitcoin?
I'll have to check with Jeremy. But knowing Jeremy, possibly. We are going to, years ago, so many years ago, Dana and I could not remember how long ago, so maybe you'll remember, but I know you were on the board. We used to mail a survey to patients
Oh, yeah.
that we had.
Yeah, sure.
And we stopped doing it after a while because we'd done it like for 3 or 4 years and
Everyone's happy.
which was nice,
Yeah.
but, so we're gonna start it again, in the more modern version, so instead of mailing things, we use SurveyMonkey, because we can keep the survey open
Mhm.
forever in there.
And people can be honest.
Yes, exactly, because there's no postmark, they don't,
Handwriting.
so I think we're gonna make up some cards that the guys can give patients.
Mhm.
We'll have a QR code they can scan if they're that savvy, or at least the web address that they can go on to our survey. And, it's been a while, so it'll be interesting to see
Mhm. Yeah.
what people say. Hopefully they're still happy.
Yeah.
But you never know. And then last but not least, we got holiday parties. It's time for the holiday party, so. Next for y'all. Sunday, December 8th at the Mills Park Hotel. So come one, come all, and just be sure to RSVP by November 20th.
Celine will be there?
Celine Dion's gonna be there,
Okay, great.
singing with Casey and Cassidy. Those are backups, so. Good times should be had by all. And that's it. Pretty simple.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Any leads on oil, water separator, inspector, cleaner types?
Probably, but I completely forgot that, and then I emailed Johnny today when I was thinking of things that Chris was gonna ask me. I was like, oh, well, water separator, so I emailed him and should be right back, because he's usually Johnny on the spot, so.
Pretty good that name. Okay. You have anything for Mr. Chief?
Where on the agenda would the fire levy show up?
Right there.
Okay. What's next on our renewal of the existing fire levy?
Well,
Funny you should.
funny you should ask. We just received today the certificate of estimated property tax revenue from the auditor, which was a requirement after submission of our resolution of necessity, which we passed November 4th, which was the last meeting. So that has been taken care of. So step 1 was the resolution of necessity. Step 2 was the receipt of the certificate of estimated property tax return. Step 3 is the resolution to proceed of the taxing authority, that would be us. Step 4 would be, I don't think I printed it out yet, but we have it. Step 4 would be the submission of all those items plus the official ballot language that has been prepared by the Greene County Prosecutor's Office and approved by everybody who needs to approve it. And we bundle it all up and send it to the Board of Elections. And then Board of Elections does their magic, and at some point before the deadline, certifies that we are on the ballot in March.
And the deadline is December 18th?
Yeah, whatever it is.
90 days before.
Whatever it is, we're gonna be
So
before.
what can we do tonight?
I'm going to offer this resolution to proceed, and hopefully we will pass that.
Okay.
All right. I will make a motion to approve the following resolution to proceed of the taxing authority. It doesn't have a place for a resolution, for a resolution number, so, I don't know.
Well, we can still do one.
I guess so, sure. But it basically reads, Board of Trustees of Miami Township met in regular session on November 18, 2019, at the office of Miami Township with the following members present. That would be myself and Mr. Hollister. I made the motion to adopt the following resolution that reads, whereas the amount of taxes which may be raised within the 10 mil limitation will be insufficient to provide an adequate amount for the necessary requirement of said Miami Township, Greene County. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Miami Township, 2/3 of all members elected thereto concurring, that it is necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the benefit of Miami Township for the purpose of continued operation, maintenance, and equipment purchase for Miami Township Fire Rescue Departments at a rate not exceeding 3.8 mils for each dollar of valuation, which amounts to 38 cents for each $100 of valuation for a period of 5 years commencing and appearing on the tax list for the years so specified 2020 through 2024. Said levy is a renewal of an existing levy of 3.8 mils. It is resolved that said levy be placed upon the tax list of the current year after the February settlement next succeeding the election, if the majority of electors voting thereupon vote in favor therefore, and be it further resolved that the clerk or fiscal officer of Miami Township be and is hereby directed to certify a copy of this resolution to the Board of Elections of Greene County, Ohio, and notified said Board of Elections to cause notice of election on the question of levying such said tax to be given as required by law. Is there a second to this motion?
Yes, please.
I second.
Mr. Hollister second the motion, and the roll call is being called upon its adoption. The vote results as follows. You're calling the roll.
Mr. Hollister,
Yes.
Mr. Mutcher.
Yes. Having received the 2/3 majority, the resolution was adopted on November 18th, 2019, and will require the signature of the auditor, the clerk, and the fiscal officer. And those all the same people of Miami Township. Yes, they are. That's you.
I'm not the auditor.
You are now.
You are now.
No, it's not the auditor of the county?
No, it's only the political subdivision, Miami Township of Greene County, Ohio.
Who knew
I'm
it
not
was
getting
titled?
paid enough then.
Now, I didn't.
Oh, I
forgot
see,
to-
yeah.
I
It's
forgot
not
to
like
make
one
a-
of the others where they got on
Yeah,
here.
I forgot to make a blank
It's in
copy, but
pencil.
would you, I know, but would you fill that out in pretty,
Yeah. Can you print a clean copy of this?
yes,
Okay, yes, that'd be great. I can make it much prettier.
okay, thank you.
So we passed it.
We did.
I'd still like to make some comments.
Be my guest, the floor is.
Well, and my understanding is, as a renewal levy,
Uh-huh,
we will maintain the sort of grandfathered what is it, when you're 65 years or older, there's a 15%,
oh,
the state covers 15% or
home,
something.
rollback.
Yeah, the rollback, both homeowner but also senior. I think
Yes.
both those will continue to apply, whereas
This
if
is
it was,
Right,
if it was an, other than a renewal, that would drop away.
right, correct.
So that's important for
So the
people
state
to-
covers 15% of what, if you're over 65 and you own a home,
Mhm.
what would you be paying? You get 15% back from the state or something like that?
No,
You-
the individuals is not, you don't pay. The state gives, through the county, will pay that.
Oh, is that what that money, is that where that comes from?
And your property
Yeah, there's
is.
homestead and rollback money,
It's
I get.
homestead
I
and
don't know
senior.
what-
Yeah, homestead exempt. The state directs the county to reduce the value of your property to the extent to cover that 15%.
The other thing
Mhm.
is, I remember the late Al Denman, who had a law degree, devoted himself to clearer legal language, and this form was archaic.
Well, if you know anybody who's on the Board of Elections currently, or perhaps
I know,
ever had been on the Board of Elections in the past, you might take it up with them about asking the
Or more
state
likely
legislature to,
or
Clarify
the
that.
Secretary of State's office.
yeah,
And actually, Frank LaRose would probably jump on
all right,
that. Good idea, I will talk to him.
okay,
I think we can also say, cause it's a renewal, no new taxes, right?
that's true.
No new taxes.
No new taxes.
But it's continuing.
Yeah.
Existing tax.
Yeah.
If
But then
it
it's
gets
not new.
passed, if it gets.
If it's passed, it passes, but not new, which is good. It would generate, calculated to be $579,000 per year at that much.
And this,
Which is
Helps.
slightly higher than now because, you know, the tax valuation goes up.
and that, but that is a significant part of the budget of ambulance and fire service.
Major portion. And I think we can also say, of our similar sized and, departments in the county, we are the best one.
And how do we, I'd like to believe that, but,
In terms of overall budget and tax burden,
okay.
compared to Sugar Creek and Zia Township. Our budget's what Chris just said, plus EMS billing, and contract fees, which is still around 800,000 or so, I'd say. Zia Township and Sugar Creek are both over $1 million. Sugar Creek's almost 2, so.
Anyway, this is a big deal for our little pond.
It's critical.
Completely critical.
Mhm.
Okay, briefly, speaking of taxes, I just wanted to let you know that we are in the process of hopefully having the $63,000+ tax delinquency bill, for lack of a better word, that was rolled over to good old Miami Township, and unexpectedly, so hopefully it will go away sometime in the near future. That's really all I want to say about it at the moment.
Should we elaborate on that or not?
I'd just assume not until
Okay.
it's a little closer to, I don't wanna get my hopes up. Okay, anything further for the fire department report? I put that on there, but I should've. Anything on the new firehouse? Foundations, yay, footers and foundations have started.
Yeah.
Half the building now has a footer, the other half will have it tomorrow.
That is nice.
I better get over there first thing in the morning, take a picture of
Yeah.
how it was at the end of today.
Uh,
I've been trying to, you may have been also, but I've been trying to take too many pictures, so we can edit it down and have like a scrapbook of
Yeah, that's a good idea.
bare ground to
Mhm.
building.
And in addition to footers and foundations, as they go along, they're also, and I'm not sure, unfortunately, I don't know the rhyme or reason why they're putting in certain drainage pipes before they put in something else, but there are catch basins that are there with some drainage pipes, and then there's more to go in. And I do know that the dry well, or the detention pond is going to be finished sooner than later, because they want it to drain the property through the winter.
Yeah, and neighbors have expressed concern, should be no problem.
And after that, we've got steel that will be, steel trusses, steel wall units that will be coming in the first part of January. There's, what are those called? The cement walls for the tornado shelter. What are those called? Independent? I don't know. Anyway, those are gonna be built up in December also. The slab should be poured in the
It'll be like a
office.
fortress.
It will be. The slab should be poured in December on the office side. The apparatus-based slab won't be poured till late, usually. For some reason, I guess I understand the reason, because they don't want that slab to have much heavy equipment on it, or they don't wanna risk any cracking or anything, because it's so substantial, they don't wanna tear any of that out. But they don't pour it until maybe August of next year. Weird, but I guess they haven't got anything else to put in there, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got that one wall, but that can't take that long to put up with. But I mean, they can put everything else in it,
Yeah.
except for the floor. So all of those things are being approved and put on order now, which is good. Don't really, do you recall anything they said was a longer delay than normal at the last meeting?
No.
Okay. I think it's pretty much everything's on normal. We are on schedule, although we are on schedule only as of today. We were a week or 10 days ahead of schedule, but basically we sat there idle, or it sat there idle for a week or 10 days because Greene County could not get a permit approved through their system any faster than last Friday. So, but we did receive it last Friday, so we're good to go on that. And the other parts of the permitting process are being reviewed, but nothing that will slow us down until quite a ways out. So that's pretty much it. Unless there's something else that you
Covered everything.
Oh, yeah, there's one other thing. This is another one that's in the middle of, the stuff's not here, but as you recall, the building, which used to be cement planks,
Right.
is now gonna be brick with, mortar joints and all. And then there's a band around the base of the building and columns in the front and back around between the apparatus bay doors. And those, at the time we originally designed the building, spec'd it out, were to be basically 12 by 12 pieces of artificial limestone. I forget the thickness, but I think they're full 3 1/8 inch thick. And nice light limestone, looked cementy. And we were in a value engineering meeting at some time over the past and decided to cut those back to save around $15,000 from the 12 by 12 cut stone block back to utility brick. Again, same as in the building, different color, but basically exactly the same wire cut utility brick stacked up along the base and up in these columns. So we asked our architects to try and find some utility brick that were of a pleasing color that would look similar to the rendition that the public has seen and that we've all grown to love over the years. And in my mind anyway, I saw those columns in that band to be kind of the color of a cement sidewalk, somewhere in that neighborhood, a light pleasing gray. And there's just been nothing that anybody's found that's anywhere near that color. It's either close to white with a little bit of yellow tinge on it, or it gets into about the color of my pants, khaki, everything khaki. It's either red, orange, or khaki. And so anyway, I spent the morning at Bryce Hill Brickyard in Springfield, and to make a long story short, there's a company that was recommended to me in a quarry that was recommended to me in Indiana that quarries limestone and provides limestone blocks similar to what we are, but instead of having to import it from Canada and pay substantial transportation charges in addition to a more expensive product charge, which is what we respect. We respect the Canadian limestone cut block, and so the guy says, that stuff's expensive. But there's this place in Indiana that'll get it less. It's more expensive than brick. It would require a change order, it would require a certain additional amount of money, but instead of it being what was told to me to be about $15,000 more for that Canadian cut brick, if it's substantially less, then it would be substantially less than an additional $15,000. And I haven't seen the sample. Well, I've seen it on a building. The old Springfield High School has a new addition on it that they use this block.
The Springfield South.
Springfield South, yeah. And went to visit that this afternoon, and frankly, it's exactly what I would have envisioned for our use. The same color, the same nice big block. You can get it in different sizes, but they were using big blocks. So I have asked Jason Funderburg to get with his supplier at Bryce Hill, and he already has today, and talked about this, and they're going to get a quote for price and specification, and whether it's an approved product from the architect, or do we want to get it on the approved list, or all of those things. And the nice thing about it is it doesn't have the traditional 6 to 8 week lead time for ordering, because it's a quarry and it's not that far away. And we could get it relatively soon. And as you recall from the discussions, we need this block before the other brick because it goes along the bottom.
Right.
And then it gets graded in and sealed and all that stuff. So hopefully, I have my fingers crossed that, that'll come in at a rate where, we can decide that it's worth it to us to spend a little of the contingency money, the same way we did for the limestone gravel to go into the base, so that they can continue to work. So maybe, if not, there might be some other options, but it's just, brick just wasn't getting it for me.
Colors weren't.
The colors weren't right, and then you've got all these horizontal bricks, that are on the same pattern as on the building, and that just doesn't seem to be that big of a change.
Yeah,
In the look.
I think it's great if this works.
Yeah. So,
Heck, we can go to Indiana and pick it up.
Yeah.
Come on, man!
Let's go.
that's right, road trip.
Why not?
Come on, get
Semi-
Semi
Depends on the
truck.
weight, depends on the weight.
Township
Yeah.
doesn't have a semi truck.
We know people that do though.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we'll pump that corn out of there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so, anything else for the new firehouse? Killed a good 10 minutes. Here
Someone is
again.
right.
Hey, Cemetery Road, Sexton, Gokenhour,
That's right.
enlighten us, please,
Okay.
please.
Since our last meeting, we've had 3 burials. We had a full burial in Clifton, and ashes here in Glen Forest, and one in Grinnell Cemetery, which is kind of unusual.
And I will be getting those burial permits and burial information forthwith.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't have the one for here, but
One ashes in
we talked
Grinnell.
about that.
One ashes and where? And
Glen
another one,
Forest,
Glen Forest, and then there was one, a full in Clifton.
full of Clifton. And we've got one coming on the 29th.
Mhm.
I just need to find out where it goes. I will.
Mhm.
Brandon will take care of it. I'll be out there. Gonna try to pour that base Thursday. It's not ready too bad. By the end of the week.
And that's the last one for the year, we're not pouring anymore, right? Okay.
Just
See-
like Dad, but I'll do that on a weekend, I'll just use the water wagon, I don't need the water wagon.
Okay.
I'll take care of
That's
that.
fine.
So, but other than that, yeah, we're done. And I'm gonna write something up and give them to all the monument companies about when we get our orders and what gets moved.
Mhm. Good.
Because none of this last minute calling in, you know, I think March 31st, April 15th, the cutoff, anything after that goes on fall.
Mhm.
Because it's been a trend this year to call and say, well, we sent you an order,
Mhm.
have it.
Mhm.
I think we need to resolve that.
Yeah, they ought to darn near send their orders registered, so you have to sign them.
Well, if I don't have it by said date in the spring or said date in summer, which is probably gonna be Labor Day, it won't get in until the following quarter.
I know, but if they say they sent you an order,
Yeah,
you know, but if they've got a receipt that you signed, said you received it, then they've got a case, but.
and we've had trouble with pouring here at Glen Forest for dogs, so we're gonna do them from now on. I mean, take him back to work, cause I'm not happy with him. I mean, a brand new base that leans is
Yeah.
not good.
That's a good.
And I had to pour, two or three that were supposedly been poured. I'm gonna get a hold of them and tell them, this is how we're gonna do it from now on. I see the etchings were finally put on,
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
and I think there's some more to go on there.
Were there 4 put on? Cause I think they charged us for 4.
Yeah, well, they let, it's got the
Well, I
one
know the
part,
one man, yeah.
I think there was 4,
Yeah, okay.
so, but are there more yet?
I'd have to go out and see what's on there.
I know it was Sykes and Reader got on there, I believe, I
Mhm.
think that was the one, those were the 2 in question,
Mhm.
they were not happy. And so, I wanna talk to them about that too, about more timely manner to
Yeah.
get these things going. Or we'll look at another option, maybe to find somebody else to do it. I don't know. A year and a half's a long time to be waiting to get your name on.
Yeah, I know. Although, you don't just pick up the phone
Hey,
and call an engraver.
Well, I know a couple we could call, you know, if we had to go that route.
Yeah.
I think we'll talk to the Dodds and see what they can
Mhm.
fix the issue.
Mhm.
So anyway, I'll work on getting something for that. I started clearing a little bit in your White Oak Grove, is that what it's called? What do you call it, the new part? The White Oak Grove? Natural berry.
You know,
Mhm. Yeah. I guess it's white oak.
I think
that's
that's
what you said.
what I've been calling it.
Yeah.
You decide.
So I kinda went back and checked things out the other day.
Uh-huh.
I'll get her done one of these days.
Mhm.
Is it not really pressing, but it'd be nice this time of year to
Mhm.
go back and do some
Mhm.
stuff. So as I can, I'll
Yeah.
think of anything else for cemetery.
Mhm. Did you have a chance to at least consider what piece of equipment you might wanna replace,
I think the cemetery will,
you think?
but
When's the best time of year to do that? When's the best, get deals and that sort of thing,
mine might be now.
you think?
Yeah, we gotta find out who's salesman that year, who they can come up with.
Mhm.
Sure, price would be more than the last one, but
Yeah.
pretty good idea of where it's gonna come in, hopefully. Never know. But I think that'd be the one to replace.
Tell them you got a nice used one in the garage too,
I will,
if you get
try to get something out of that,
a 2-for-1 deal,
we'll see what we can do.
yeah. And how about a big old compressor too, maybe they could use one of those in their shop. And a couple of engines, what the
does our
heck?
state contracts have mowers?
Yeah, we'll get it through
Mhm.
state court.
Is it Compton? I can't remember, is that the name, no?
No, it's, what is John Deere, what's it called now, Ag Pro.
Mm.
Two of them, that's the only one around here besides Katie,
Mhm.
you know, see what they are, if it's too high, I'll see what Katie can do. Anything else?
Nope.
Road department,
Yep.
get tires on one truck, should have the others on this week sometime. They weren't in today, but he said he called me. We figured maybe about Wednesday, take it down, drop off. I kinda like them. They're
And the
smooth.
tires?
Yeah, new tires, they're smooth,
Went round.
they're round, they don't make a lot of noise.
Thank God.
I still wanna figure out how those driving tires work in
Yeah, I don't get that.
compromising material.
They're smooth.
Yeah,
I just,
it's like racing slicks that got great big grooves in them.
they're steering tires. I mean, even when we got the truck, the front tires were different than the rear, and it's four-wheel drive. They say it cups the tires, too bad if you run the same. Different type four-wheel drive suspension. I think that's what. We'll try them. That's the cheapest price I could get on any tire.
I don't care about cheap, I want good, safe
Well,
tires that steer. I mean, you put 3 tons of salt in the back of that and that front end is just floats down the
miles
road.
down, everything, you know.
Turn this way, turn
Did
this
you
way.
go beyond,
Just keep
short?
going straight, or wherever it wants to.
I went down to Harworth to go,
That's how we used to,
so that's who our new tire person is. I'm gonna burn the pit tomorrow, chief.
Okay.
Supposed to be kinda drizzly, but that'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll say it's okay.
That's good with me.
And last but not least, I'm gonna take next week off. I'd like to. Can I have next week off?
Unless it
Rephrase
snows.
that, unless it snows. Well, I got a man to take care of it.
Next week,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
is that Thanksgiving week? Mhm. I have no problem with it.
I think I'm at a point where
Mhm.
where's my list? Get right back on it. I need to pick her up.
As long as, as long as
I mean, if anything came up on it.
Brandon is somewhat around.
Oh, yeah, he'll be around.
How do you do that with him and his work schedule for Beth? I mean, do you know ahead of time?
They call, Mike will call and say, hey, you need Brandon, kinda have him, tell me what they're doing. So I
So it's
kinda
just
know
on a
ahead of time.
day-to-day basis?
Just kinda as needed.
Mhm.
If they got something coming up, he'll say, can I have Brandon next week or whatever.
Mhm.
If it didn't pull him away from anything we've got going, it's been working out right.
Okay.
Like, he don't call me up and say, hey, I need Brandon, today.
Mhm.
That gives me a little leeway.
Mhm.
But I pretty much, I kinda know what, where they're going, what they got coming up, so we can expect to
Mhm.
lend him out.
Mhm.
Well, lend him out, I mean, he works for them too.
Right. Yeah.
It works out all right. I guess it,
Okay. Anything for
I don't have anything.
our administrator?
oh, you wanna try the fire truck this week sometime, the
Yeah.
tanker?
Just let me know.
Right. Maybe Wednesday.
Sounds good. Yeah, actually, got more of those ones. So
Okay.
perfect.
All right, we'll go to fiscal officer's report.
Well, we have a resolution to adopt. It's a long one too. If you didn't read it. Resolution 29-46, 2019-46. Whereas an ongoing process to accurately appropriate funds according to the needs of the township. Now therefore the trustees authorize amendments to the following permanent appropriations. In Glen Forest Cemetery, increased advertising by $130. Fire fund, we increased operating supplies by 5,000.
Shazam!
Well, I didn't know how much it was gonna take to get you through the end of the year, so I just,
Okay.
increased training services by $75, the telephone by 600, and employee reimbursement by 470. And EMS billing, I increased training services by $700, and in the capital fund, increased contingencies by the exact amount that was given to me by the USDA, which is $318,514.95.
Is there a motion?
I move adoption of resolution 2019-46.
I'll second that. Any further discussion regarding resolution 2019-46? Hearing none, may we vote please?
Mr. Hollister?
Yes.
Mr. Mutcher?
Yes.
So, what is the resolution number for the earlier resolution about the,
That'd be 47.
about the
Yeah,
tax levy?
47. That's what I wrote down here, so that comes after 46.
Directly.
Pulling a million wool over our eyes here in
Yeah,
my
right.
township.
I got it
Tell
tight,
you
I
what.
got it tight. I don't really have anything else, I don't think.
Okay. Zoning inspector, he's probably still out at the new firehouse.
That's
Crawling around.
Yep. Making foundation ties.
usually just the first meeting of the month.
Although I do have a correspondence from Inspector
Yes.
General Ruff. Might as well read it, it's kind of easier to explain it. It's regarding Grary's composting project. He writes, "If I understand the process, you should have received a certified mail letter from Agraria," which I don't think we received one, did we?
Yeah, you did.
Well,
I saw it,
No, no, we
but we handed it to him,
him, Richard,
to Richard.
I see.
So it was addressed to him, not to us.
Oh, okay. From Agraria stating that their intention to operate a Class 2 composting facility. I, as zoning inspector, received one. Attached is some information about Class 2 composting facilities. Such an operation can be permitted as an agricultural service establishment, a conditional use. It probably cannot be permitted as an agricultural activity. Please think about conditions that might be applied to such a request. So, stating their intention perhaps, but not applying for a conditional use permit at this point. So,
It's a warning.
I guess, shot across the bow, as it were. So, I would suggest that all members of the board review this attached information and think about conditions that might be applied to such a.
Now that would go to the Board of Zoning Appeals?
No. Or, what,
At such time it came up.
my head's going blank. It would go to the BZA, yes. I don't know why I
And
thought about that.
I have on my calendar that there is a zoning commission meeting Tuesday night, tomorrow night, which will include a general discussion about, or maybe some specifics, but a discussion about PUD.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm planning to attend that.
Excellent.
I'll confirm that it's actually gonna happen and
Mhm.
plan to attend it. But
Okay. Did you have anything further about that?
Nope.
All right, well, I'll look forward to your report of that. We should go down through the list of standing committee reports, because this is the second meeting of each month. MVRP, we had an executive committee and board of directors meeting, and
Was this your
Just
first
to be-
as president?
to be perfectly honest, as the first person, I have no recollection of what happened during either of those meetings, but we did get through them.
Your head was in a cloud.
Head was somewhere. There was a TAC committee meeting, I believe. Did you attend that?
It's this coming week.
Oh, it's this week, okay.
There have, most of the ones over the past 6 months have been canceled, but I have not attended any.
Mhm. Okay.
But I will attend this week.
Green County Regional Planning Coordinating Commission, both the executive committee and the coordinating commission did meet last month. We'll begin the process again tomorrow, but last month there was a request for a rezoning for a very small piece of property in Spring Valley Township, I believe. And there was a fair amount of budget information. There was also a presentation by one of the members of NVRPC about where we are in the planning and implementation now, we're starting the implementation program, part of the updated county comprehensive plan, that MVRPC, regional planning, and the membership are all gonna participate in. The negotiations between MVRPC and RPCC about the price of their services was established at roughly $45,000, and it doesn't include, obviously, the they're doing a fair amount of work, it's not complimentary, I'm trying to think, what's the word?
Compensatory,
Is it compensatory?
if you're being paid for it.
No, they're not being paid. They're being paid for part of it, but they're giving in-kind service as a result of our being a member of RPCC.
Complimentary.
Pro bono?
We know what you mean.
Anyway, we
know
get,
what
we
you
get the idea.
All right, they're
Quid pro quo.
they're gonna do some work. On a less than happy note, in my opinion, the only other employee of regional planning has resigned, and so Jessica,
Really?
yes, is going somewhere else. And now that she has gotten to almost the place where she's a very valuable employee and a very strong addition to our regional planning department, she's leaving, so. We gave her a nice big raise too. She must have done a really good job. I hope she did. I wish she wasn't leaving, but I hope she did a really good job. Anyway, the next one, senior citizen that Mark would have talked about, Clifton Cemetery. I hear you are thinking about a meeting but didn't have one scheduled, is that correct?
Working on it.
Okay. Economic Sustainability Committee, same thing. West Community Development Corporation reported about the subcommittee meeting here. We did meet full committee last month. And hopefully, within a week or 10 days, I've submitted a completed draft 1023 form, that's the IRS 501c3 application. I've submitted that to the legal representatives we have with my comments, with Lisa Abel's comments, with Jean Marie Cox's comments, so it should be all be able to be filled out and some nice words put in it by the lawyers and then submitted to the IRS. Hopefully. Have you had any census meetings?
Yes,
since last time?
my role has been rather passive. I think I said in one of our earlier meetings that it's significant that each person counted, now I don't have it in front of me, but there are a few $1,000s per person in federal monies allocated to the county through multiple programs. So an accurate count is significant, and the challenges in Greene County are counting students, and most recently people who have moved because of the tornadoes. There are a few hundred in Beaver Creek who still are residing. Their kids still go to school in Beaver Creek even though they're living in Montgomery County or wherever. What's not on this list is I've been added to the Greene County Solid Waste Policy Committee. I think I mentioned
Oh,
this
you
once
did. I
before.
knew there was something to add on to this.
So it's GCSWPC.
GCSWPC.
Yes, very PC.
It is quarterly, I forget what, quarterly by,
They
in,
normally quarterly, I'm told, but now currently they're monthly
holy moly.
because
There's a lot of solid waste out there.
both supposed to submit a new 3-year plan by the end of the calendar.
What does the P stand for?
Policy.
And then
So it's basically the county solid waste
committee.
district gets money, a few bucks per ton of solid waste, that commercial, transporters, take to either a transit station or directly to a landfill, and that, so it's something like $800,000. But in order to keep getting that, you need to have a plan approved by the Ohio EPA, so we're needing short intervals to finish the plan, agree to the plan. But where townships come in is because most townships don't have mandated solid waste pickup or contract solid waste pickup. Each household, and I'm thinking it's around 1,500 households in our township, maybe as high as 2,000. Anyway, contract with, I think there's 3 different choices. But countywide, 11%, I think, of households don't have a municipal pickup. And so, partly because the houses are far apart, but also because there are multiple vendors, which means the houses are even further apart. You pay much more for trash pickup. And there's no recycling option that is to be pickup. You can take recycling to the Greene County Central site. So it's possible that this township angle, I represent the townships. It's possible that that's worth pursuing, even as pushing, surveying our rural households. Do you want to have a group contract? And what I'm told is, even if you never sign a contract, if you start talking about putting out for bid, I mean, the townships have the authority to be a solid waste contractor. That just talking about it will lower the prices.
Well,
So I'm gonna pursue that.
okay. That's a good idea.
But that's, right now, nothing definitive.
It's just in the talking stage.
Cornell Mill?
It's there, it's still there, I was there the other day. Seemed to be fine.
How's the grass look? Could it use a fall cleaning?
It's a little long, but it didn't look too bad.
I thought you're supposed to it's good to let your grass go.
Supposed to leave 3 inches in the fall, I
Yeah,
thought.
that's why I didn't know anymore.
We'll cut it to half. Say, I didn't know if the leaves, if we needed it. I haven't looked at it, not close.
Yeah, I didn't go around back, but the stuff on the front looked fine.
Just see it goes.
Yeah. Although I swear sometimes you can cut grass into December sometimes, but,
Leaves haven't fallen yet.
Leaves haven't
Yeah.
fallen.
There's
Oh, look out there.
still quite a few in the trees.
It's amazing how many are still up.
Yeah, well, they just hold on forever.
Hanger oners.
Really.
We might mow in January, if the way the weather's going.
All right, any new business?
Oh, you do?
Mhm.
I guess you-
Any old business? Oh, we gotta get some new business. Well, if there's no other business, we'll next meet December 2nd. Hard to believe, December 2nd.
No, it's just summer.
Yep. This meeting is adjourned.